on that Morse code. Let me switch it off.
In this lesson, you'll learn how to deal with the worst of situations, the loss of an engine. And what's worse, in this case, you'll lose both engines.
Both? Oh.
Okay, you just had a double engine failure. You can tell because the engines aren't making noise, but your passengers are.
Do we have passengers?
Let's go through the engine failure checklist we covered in ground school to see if we can detect why they quit on us.
All right.
Be sure to maintain 115 knots while you do all
115.
this. In fact, keep this airspeed constant until you are over your landing spot.
I'll try
Both
my best.
engine magnetos on both, boost pumps on, mixtures full rich, fuel selectors each set to on. No luck, amigo. You may have had many fans, but the two out in front aren't working anymore. It looks like we can't find the problem for this engine failure, so let's activate our GPS and find the nearest airport.
GPS. Yep. Now what? Now I have the GPS. here.
Use the range buttons to change that scale to 2 nautical miles since we're directly over the airport.
2 nautical miles. Alright. And Ping is in front
It looks
of
like
us.
Painfield, the large airport with 3 runways, is nearby. So let's turn directly toward the center of that airport. That's where we'll make our emergency landing.
Painfield.
A successful emergency landing requires you to always remain within gliding distance of a runway. So I want you to remain close to the center of the airport. Since you can't easily look out the window, I want you to use your GPS moving map to help you right now. When you're over the center of the field, I want you to begin turning at 20 to 30 degrees of bank and remain as close to the center of the runway complex as possible during the descent. Speed up. Remember, you may not have use of your attitude indicator during an engine failure. You may need to guess at the 20 to 30 degree bank level. Because you're sitting on the left side of the airplane, you should make all your turns to the left. Keep the runway in sight when it becomes visible out your left window. And you can use your GPS moving map.
Knots.
I want you to keep turning around the center of the airport until you are 2,000 feet above ground level, which, given Payne's 606-foot elevation, is a reading of approximately 2,600 feet on your altimeter. At this point, you'll decide which runway to land on. Remember, there's no wind today, so you can land on any runway and make any pattern necessary. Do this right, and you'll feel no pain when landing at Payne.
Do we really need to keep turning, keep banking 20 degrees like this? In the holding pattern, at least we have a minute of rest. Now we are always banking. getting close to 2,600 feet.
There's 2,600 feet on the altimeter. Look at the movie map and see which runway you're most nearly parallel to. Then turn so as to fly parallel to that runway as if you're making left traffic. Maneuver to remain between 1/4 and 1/2 mile to the side of the runway. Use your movie map to help you remain within these distances. Our target is to be between 1/4 and 1/2 mile from the side of the runway, abeam the threshold at 1,000 feet above ground. From here, you should have no difficulty maneuvering to land on the runway. If you're too high or too low at this position, you'll either have to turn base sooner or later to make the runway, based on your own best judgment.
Well,
if you use your hat switch or keyboard, you might be able to see the runway off your left. When the runway threshold is 45 degrees between the left wing and the tail, I want you to turn your base leg. You can use your GPS movie map if you can't see the runway out the window.
Well, I think we are losing altitude.
Now I want you to look at the runway threshold. If it looks like you're going to be too low, then head toward the threshold now. Don't
Yes.
wait. You can always use flaps if you need them too.
Okay. So now did I turn too early? Anyway, the runway is long enough.
Stay on the runway. Excellent.
Quiet.
You made it. Airline pilots would be proud of you, and I'm proud of you too.
Really?
I guess you could say that it's good to be in pain right now, right?
Yes. Thanks.